I just wanted to list some noodles for fun. So everyone should have pasta for dinner. Mrs. Kneifel's having pasta for dinner. So all you guys need to get on the pasta train tonight. Because it is National Noodle Day. Evan.
When it's candy day, I'm going to have candy for every meal.
Okay. All right. I need you guys all on HMH, and I need you on our story, The Secret Garden. We are going to read our story in entirety today. It is not the longest story ever, but it's a pretty good one. Can someone raise their hand and remind me what genre our story is? What is our genre? Ava. It is realistic fiction, which means it could be possible in real life. Dun, da, da, da. I need you to turn to our first page. And paragraph 1 is all in italics. Why or what does that mean? It is in italics. Paragraph 1 is in italics. What does that mean? Evan. Why is paragraph 1 in italics? We learned about it the other week. What is that big paragraph? It's called something specific. Molly?
Forward.
A forward. So this story is just a little excerpt from an entire book. So this little forward is just going to give us some background information, okay? So, 10-year-old orphan Mary Lennox has recently moved from India to her uncle's mansion in England. Mary has made a few friends at the mansion, including the gardener, Ben Weatherstaff, a friendly Robin who often keeps Ben company. She also discovered a mysterious walled-off garden that has been abandoned for 10 years. Mary would love to get inside the garden, but hasn't been able to find an entrance. The day before, however, she found a key, half buried in the dirt. All right, we have 4 characters. Who are our 4 characters? Just from our, whatever it's called, forward, we already have 4 characters. Olive. Who is one of our characters? Mary Lennox. She's an orphan. She's 10 years old. Recently moved to England from India. Who's another one of our characters, Kylan? Ben Weatherstaff. He is the gardener of a mansion. Miss Marissa. Okay, that says mansion, and that's a thing. It's just the uncle. The uncle. By the way, this is all we're going to hear about the uncle. He is MIA the rest of the story, FYI. And there's one more character, Rochelle. The Robin. But in this story, the Robin is literally a robin. He's going to act like a bird. He's not going to be talking to us. He's not going to be doing any crazy bird thing because this isn't a fantasy. This is a realistic fiction story, so the Robin's going to be a robin. All right. And we already know the problem. What's the problem in the story? What is the conflict or problem in our story? What's the problem? What's the conflict? Julian, what do you think the problem/conflict is? It is the second to last sentence in the foreword. Well, refresh it. Ava. Okay, so that's the actual last sentence. I wanted the sentence before that. Mary would love to get inside the secret garden, but hasn't been able to find the entrance. So that's the problem. She wants to get inside the secret garden, hasn't found an entrance, but she has found a key. But do we even know if it's the key to the secret entrance? No, for all we know, it could be the key to a car. I don't know. Paragraph 2. The skipping rope was a wonderful thing. She counted and skipped and skipped and counted until her cheeks were quite red. And she was more interested than she had ever been since she was born. Why would her cheeks be turning red while she's skipping a rope? Why would her cheeks be turning red while she's skipping jump rope? Julian, you can answer that without your book. Why would your cheeks be turning red when you're jumping rope? And?
Miss Kneifel,
Yes.
what page are you on? I had to use the bathroom.
14, we're on the first page of the story,
Thank
paragraph
you.
2. And sometimes when you exercise, it can lead to your cheeks getting red because you're getting tired and you're sweating and your whole little body gets red because it's starting to sweat. So she's jumping rope and jumping rope and jumping rope, and her cheeks get a little bit red because she's getting more now. Yes. I'll just exit out and get back in it. The sun was shining and a little wind was blowing. Not a rough wind, but one which came in delightful little gust and brought a fresh scent of newly turned earth with it. Anyone want to guess what the scent of newly turned earth is? Evan.
Like a new life or a new area.
No, an actual thing. It's a word. Mark.
I just forgot what I was going to say.
Newly turned earth. What would that be? Molly.
Maybe like when you cut the grass.
All right, well, think about turned earth. Everyone else got this.
Soil?
Go twice. What?
Soil?
Yeah, dirt. Newly turned earth would be the dirt. There's actually hunters use it. It's called fresh earth. It literally smells like dirt. Anyways, besides the point. She skipped round the fountain garden and up one walk and down another. She skipped at last into the kitchen garden, saw Ben Weatherstaff digging and talking to his robin, which was hopping about him. She skipped down the walk towards him. He lifted his head and looked at her with a curious expression. She had wondered if he would notice her. She really wanted him to see her skip. What are our characters doing in the story so far? There's 3 characters. We don't really know what the uncle's doing. He's just MIA. We just heard about him in his mansion. What are our characters doing? What is one character doing? Kylan. Mary is jumping rope. What is character 2 doing? Ava. No, that is not the uncle. I disagree. Remember, the uncle, we're not going to hear about him. All we heard was that she lives in his mansion. Yeah, his name is Ben. Ben Weatherstaff, the gardener guy, is digging. And then there's one other character. Molly?
The robin is hopping on.
Right, the robin's acting like a bird because this is realistic fiction and it's a bird. Okay? He's just hopping about being a little birdie bird. Okay? Paragraph 3. Hey, I don't know why all you guys keep on clicking and moving your screens, but stop it. Mary skipped around all the gardens, round the orchard, resting every few minutes. At length, she went to her own special walk. She made up her mind to try to skip the whole length of it. It was a good long skip and began slowly, but before she had gone halfway down the path, she was so hot and breathless that she was obligated to stop. What does obligated mean? Obligated. If you're obligated to do something, what does that mean? Mark?
Kind of forced.
That's a way. Yeah. Anyone else? Evan, you want to add to that?
Needed or determined?
I don't know if it's necessarily determined. Obligated is like a must, okay? And when Mrs. Kneiffel's in her car and I see a stop sign, I am obligated to stop. I have to. I must. There's no question about it. So she's saying she's skipping so much and she's like, oh, snap, so tired. She's obligated to stop because her body's like, girlfriend, you can't keep skipping. You need to take a break. She did not mind much because she had already counted up to 30. She stopped with a little laugh of pleasure. There, lo and behold, was the robin swaying on a long branch of ivy. He had followed her, and he greeted her with a chirp. As Mary had skipped towards him, she felt something heavy in her pocket strike against her each jump. When she saw the robin, she laughed again. What might be in her pocket? Anyone want to make an assumption? What might be in her pocket? Rochelle? The key, maybe. I don't know. You showed me where the key was yesterday, she said. You ought to show me the door today, but I don't believe you. Did the robin legitimately say, follow me, Mary? I'll show you the key. No, he did not. This is a realistic fiction story. So what happened that she said the robin, let's make an assumption. What happened that she said that the robin showed her the key? What most likely happened, Molly?
Maybe she was kind of bored and she was just following the robin around.
Maybe she was just following the robin around and the robin found it and there it was. Why might a robin find a key? Why might a robin find a key, Evan?
Because maybe he's been living there for a while and wanted to know someone.
No. This is realistic fiction story. The robin is not going to find a key, find a person, then show the person. This is a bird. It is not a person. Lily. Right. The bird was probably like digging through worms and coincidentally saw the key, and Mary happened to be by the robin, and there's that. Or robins, sometimes birds are attracted to like shiny things, so maybe the robin was just messing around with the key because it's shiny. And like Molly said, she was probably looking for the robin or following the robin, and guess what? The robin found the key, then Mary found the key. The robin did not legitimately say, Mary, come look at this key, because this is a realistic fiction story. The robin flew from the swinging spray of ivy on top of the wall and opened his beak and sang a loud, lovely trill, merrily to show off. Nothing in the world is quite as adorably as lovely as a robin when it shows off, and they are nearly always doing it. Please. Oh, wait. Conflict. Mary does not know where the door of the secret garden is located, so she can't use the key to open it. But we still don't know if the key actually works. Turn the page. And the robin's just, being a robin, okay? I don't know if I made that clear enough. The robin is being a robin. Okay. Mary Lennox had heard a great deal about magic and stories, and she always said that what happened almost at that moment was magic. One of the nice little gusts of wind rushed down the walk, and it was stronger than the rest. It was strong enough to wave the branches of the trees. It was more than strong enough to sway the trailing sprays of untrimmed vines hanging from the wall. Mary had stepped close to the robin, and suddenly the gust of wind swung aside some loose ivy trails. More suddenly still, she jumped towards it and caught it in her hand. This she did because she had seen something under it, a round knob which had been covered by leaves hanging over it. It was a knob of a door. So she's in this part of the garden. There's leaves everywhere, long ivy, all this shenanigans. Can't see anything. It's just leaves and vines and whatever. And then, oh snap, the wind. Whoosh. And she sees a knob. Whoa, jumps, grabs the knob. Woohoo! So let's think. What did she probably find? What did she probably find, Olive? Probably the door to the secret garden. Why else would there be a knob? But that's what the whole story's about. Let's assume she found the secret garden. Yay! She put her hand under the leaves and began to push and pull them aside. Thick as the ivy hung, it was nearly all loose and swinging curtain, though some had crept over wood and iron. So she's kind of using comparing the ivy vines to a curtain. So think of a shower curtain. It swings back and forth. It hides the whole shower. You can't see into it. So she's saying the vines are so thick, they're like a curtain. But she's still able to move them, just like you can move a shower curtain. Mary's heart began to thump and her hands shake a little in delight and excitement. The robin kept singing and twittering away and tilting his head on one side, as if he were as excited as she was. What was under her hand, which was square and made of iron, and which her finger found a hole in? If what might be under a knob that is a hole? Here's a knob, then there's a hole underneath it. What can we assume that is?
A keyhole.
Yes. You're supposed to raise your hand. But yes, a keyhole. And guess what Mary coincidentally has in her pocket? A key. Yeah, funny. It was the lock of the door, which had been closed for 10 years. Someone asked me earlier, how do we know it was closed for 10 years? Because the foreword told us. That's what the whole point of the foreword is. They give us some background information. That's what the foreword said. That's what we're going with. She put her hand in her pocket, drew out the key, and found it fitted the keyhole. She put the key in and turned it. It took 2 hands to do it, but it did turn. Why might it take 2 hands to turn this key? Marissa, nice and loud.
It might be old.
Okay, it might be old. It hasn't been opened in 10 years. If things haven't been open in 10 years, they're going to be full of dirt. They're going to be rusty. They're going to be real tough. So she needs both hands to make this key turn. And then she took a long breath and looked behind her up the walk to see if anyone was coming. No one was coming. No one ever did come, it seemed. She took a long breath, because she couldn't help it. She held back the swinging curtain of ivy and pushed back the door, which opened slowly. So, which story event is shown in this illustration? On the right side. What story event is shown in that illustration? What story event is shown? Eli? Anyone? What's shown in this picture? What's she doing? Yeah, Mary's opening up the door. And why is that event important? Because this event is the resolution to the conflict. She couldn't find the door for the key. Oh, guess what? She found the door with the key. Woo! Problem solved. Okay. Please turn the page. All right. Line/paragraph 11. Then she slipped through it and shut it behind her and stood with her back against it, looking about and breathing quite fast with excitement and wonder and delight. She was standing inside the secret garden. It was the sweetest, most mysterious looking place anyone could imagine. The high walls which shut it in were covered with leafless stems of climbing roses that were so thick they were matted together. Mary Lennox knew they were roses because she had seen a great many roses in India. All the ground was covered with grass of a wintry brown. Out of it grew clumps of bushes, which were surely rose bushes if they were alive. There were numbers of stranded roses which had so spread their branches that they were like little trees. There were other trees in the garden, and one of these things which made the place look strangest and loveliest was the climbing roses that had run all over them and swung down long trundles, which made light swaying curtains. Here and there they had caught each other or a far-reaching branch and had crept from one tree to another and made lovely bridges of themselves. There were neither leaves nor roses on them now, and Mary did not know whether they were dead or alive. But their thin gray or brown branches and sprays looked like a sort of haze mantle spreading over everything, walls and trees and even brown grasses where they had fallen from their fastenings and run along the ground. It was this haze tangle from tree to tree which made it look so mysterious. Mary had thought it must be different from other gardens which had not been left all by themselves so long. Indeed, it was different from any other place she had ever seen in her life. So, let's do first off, the illustration. Mary is clearly looking a little bit what in this picture? Someone describe how Mary's looking in this picture. Molly. Surprise, wondrous, all of the above. Now, let's compare and contrast. If you go back a page to the original garden, and then go back to this page and look at the secret garden, what's the difference between the regular, normal garden and the secret garden? Olive, tell me one difference.
Because of the, regular garden, it's all, taken care of, and in the secret garden, it's, dead.
Okay, well, those were two different things. But yes, the regular garden is taken care of. The secret garden is super overgrown. It's not taken care of. No one's trimming the bushes or anything. And she also said the secret garden looks a little bit dead. Why would the secret garden be dead? Besides the fact that it's not taken care of. That's one reason. Plants that aren't taken care of, they can die. What else, Kylan? Right, so there's not getting any sunlight. Can plants live without sunlight? Can plants live without water? Not really, unless you're a cactus. So that's a problem. What else, Miss Ava? How else are they different?
The flowers and one of the flowers in the other and on the other side, they're not covered.
Yeah, because there's a lot of live, luscious, beautiful plants in the regular garden, and the next one they're all dead and brown and Yeah, you can get a charger. So basically, the regular garden is lush and it's bright, full of color. It's beautiful. It's taken care of. There's actual flowers. You can see every little leaf. And then in the secret garden, it's brown and dead looking. Everything hasn't been taken care of, so everything's overgrown together and matted. You can't see each individual little branch here because everything's kind of just intertwined and stuff. So basically, not taken care of, other one taken care of. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I said it was in the closet. How still it is, she whispered. How still. Then she waited a moment and listened at the stillness. The robin, who had flown to his treetop, was still as all the rest. He did not even flutter his wings. He sat without stirring and looked at Mary. Wonder it is still, she whispered again. I am the first person who has spoken in here for 10 years. She moved away from the door, stepping as softly as if she was afraid of awakening someone. She was glad that there was grass under her feet, that her steps made no sound. She walked under one of the fairy-like gray arches between the trees and looked up at the sprays of trendles which formed them. I wonder if they're all quite dead, she said. Is it all quite dead, garden? I wish it wasn't. If she had been Ben Weatherstaff, she could have told whether the wood was alive by looking at it, but she could only see that there were only gray or brown sprays and branches, and none showed any signs of even a tiny leaf bud anywhere. But she was inside the wonderful garden, and she could come through the door under the ivy any time, and she felt as if she had found a world all her own. Why is she feeling like she has a world all her own, peeps? All of her own. Why is she feeling that way? Evan?
Because everything's dead there and no one's really there.
What does that have to do with it being her own? Things being dead has nothing to do with it being her own. Try again.
Kinda does.
Nah, not really. Try again. How about go with the second part of what you said? Lily.
That she found it or what?
Okay, she found it. As far as we know, does anyone else know where it is? If someone else knows, they haven't been there in 10 years. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna say that.
Right, so it's all her own because no one else is there, minus this little robin who, once again, is just a regular old robin bird. Okay? Okay. Not a person. Not really a character. It's just a bird. All right, so we are going, don't get off yet if you're at home. We are going to stop there for today. Tomorrow, we are going to answer some collaborative discussion questions. So today, for the rest of reading class, you need to finish your vocabulary homework if you haven't yet. And then you need to read for AR if you have not got all your AR points. If you have all your AR points, you could always start a new book because the new AR starts on Monday. And then we are not having a live spelling. If you guys already looked at Google Classroom Homeroom, today is just spelling city time. And then we will have a live spelling tomorrow, though. We're going to play Sparkle Live if you want to join. But so for the rest of the day, you should be on Spelling City. You should be finishing your vocabulary. You can work on your writing prompts. You need to be reading for AR if you do not have all your points. Are there any questions, my friends? Evan? Yes. Yes. If there's no questions, you may leave me if you're at home. If you're here, you may start to being productive.
And what you in and out.
I do need to do that.